Welcome back to another episode of the Metro Drive. Today, guys, we're going to talk about something that I feel like I battle with on the regular, and it's simply fear. Fear in whatever you do. And it's a common thing, and there's really nothing more paralyzing than fear. I believe it's one of my favorite quotes is, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but courage is being scared to death and saddling up anyway." And I might have been John Wayne. I'm not sure. It could have been John Wayne in a movie. I'm not sure. Maybe one of his scripted lines. But it's common for things to scare you. In fact, if your goals don't kind of frighten you, like if a goal is super easily attainable, you might want to rethink how big is that goal? Like, how hard is that? You know? An obvious example for me, I get nervous, and my first tournament, there's been a few tournaments where I've been so nervous and fearful, my body almost gave out. Like my muscles weren't working right. You know, I remember one tournament specifically, I was going up against, I didn't know him at the time. It was an Olympic wrestler. His name was Mark Herbert, I believe. I was a purple belt. And the guy was literally an Olympic wrestler. I think he won a couple of gold medals in the Olympics. And I was scared to death, man. Like I was like, look, I'm just gonna go out there and do the absolute best I can against this guy. We'll do jiu-jitsu versus wrestling. The first match, he beat me, and so the second match, I actually got eliminated. I got eliminated in that bracket, and one of my teammates was supposed to verse him. And my teammate looks at me, and I was like, "Bro, you got to get me." I was joking. I was like, "You got to get back for me." And he's like, "Do you want him? Do you want to go back with him?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I want to redeem myself." And so they let me. It was a local tournament. They let me fill in for him and verse him again. My instructor was furious at my teammate. He was absolutely furious. And I go up to him, I was like, "Look," I was like, "Danny, I'm sorry, I wanted to get the guy back." He's like, "I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at him." He's like, he quit. I saw it in his eyes. He quit. And so that fear, whether it could be something as low-key as a jiu-jitsu tournament, but it could be something as, in whatever goals you're doing, guys, like, I promise you, from my very first tournament as a white belt, I've been taking greater risks knowing that I don't have to be afraid. Knowing that I don't have to be, or at least neutralizing that fear. Whatever you're doing, whether you're, I was talking with one of our members the other day. I was like, look, this is, at the end of the day, the absolute end of the day, let's play it out with the worst case scenario. You're not going to end up homeless. You're not going to be without food. So who cares? Like, this is shaking, guys, so I'm going to play here. You're not going to be homeless. You're not going to be without food. And so the absolute worst case scenario, your friends might see you fail once. I failed so many, guys. I failed so many times. When I opened my first business when I was 19, that flopped shortly after because I just didn't have the business experience. And so who cares? Don't be afraid to fail. So many times people want to see you fail. They want to see you try something, and they're happy to see you fail because that's why I don't do that. That's why I don't do that. It's too high risk. Well, you know what? Whenever you take the risks that other people won't, that's also when it pays off big time. And this could be, I really don't know what else. I don't know what better way to say it. I mean, tips to overcoming your fear. Start small. Start with something small that frightens you and do it. I often if I know something scares me, I'll be honest with you, deep water scares me. And so if I'm on the beach and I get I'm just scared of deep water. I don't spend a whole lot of time on the beach because we live in Michigan. But if I do go out there, I've even tested myself. I'll try to swim out as far as I can until it gets a little treacherous, and then I swim back. And the whole time, like, I'm fearful. Like, I've been watching a lot of whatever movies, and that only gonna help you, because like each time you face that fear, it adds a brick to the building, to where I face that little fear. I face that little fear. I face that little fear. So that after doing that so many times, you become in control of those nerves. You become in control of those emotions and those feelings, which is all fear is, and then you can take really, really, then you're able to make big decisions, things that might paralyze somebody else. Again, it's just relevant to me, but you could things like opening a business, things like opening a gym, things like going back to school and getting your master's. Things like, I am going to, for fellas out there, I am going to propose. You might be afraid of commitment. I am going to propose. Whatever it is, whatever your situation is, if fear is the thing that's stopping you, that's the reason to do it. Okay? Because fear, what is fear? It's an emotion, plain and simple. 98 times out of 100, fear is completely unvalidated. Like, there's not like a valid, tangible reason to be afraid. It's not like a guy's chasing you or a pit bull's chasing you. It's like you're just afraid of what could happen. But how do you know what's going to happen unless you go out and do it? And then, if you go out and do it, and then exactly what you were afraid of happens, guess what? Well, now you learn. Now we can try it again. The worst case scenarios are often in our mind of what we think is the worst case scenario is almost never what happens. So you psych yourself out. So many people talk themselves out of what they should be doing. Well, I'm just afraid of this. All right, why do you think that's going to happen? I don't know. I'm just afraid of it. It's not really a reason. So quit talking yourself out of stuff that you know is good for you, stuff that you know is going to help you, stuff that you know is for your growth. Whatever it could be, whatever your specific situation is, I don't know. But if the only reason holding you back is fear, then you need to go for it. And you need to go for it as aggressively as you can and as soon as possible. So start with something small. You're afraid of spiders? Go find a tarantula museum and have that bad boy crawl all over you. If you're afraid of heights, go skydiving. There's one in Tecumseh, I believe. If you're afraid of whatever you're afraid of, build up to it to where, like, fear just doesn't move you the same way it does. Because, guys, being controlled by fear, it's no way to live. In fact, a lot of mental health issues can be caused if you let fear get too strong of a grip on you. So that's it for today. That's all I got, guys. We might even do an episode 4 on the ride back. But until next time, I'll see you guys on the mats. I am Coach David at Metro Jiu-Jitsu. We're located in Southgate, next to Planet Fitness on Eureka. See you on the mats.